When love becomes noise. Number 17 Adin Street, Surulere, Lagos. A typical compound in the heart of Lagos, where too many people live too close together. Where everybody knows everybody's business, whether you want them to or not. Now, this compound had seen many things. Generator fights between Mr. Ojo and Brother Ton, those two could argue about who bought fuel last week for 3 hours straight. Bucket argument at the well. Mom Ngozi once threw water on Sister Kate because she jumped the queue. And who could forget, the infamous pepper disaster involving Joy Akon and Tolu Adewales. Let's just say Joy's pepper soup was a bit too spicy for Tolu's white blouse. But nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to the Adewales. Flat 2A. That was where they lived. Colonel and Busy Adewale. Colonel Adewale was a commercial bus driver. The kind of man who believed that volume equals victory. A loud voice. And even louder opinions. I said double the fare. You think fuel is free? Move back. Yes. That was Colonel. Every single day. Now his wife, Busy. Busy Adewale was a food vendor at the market. Known throughout Surulere for two things, her delicious jollof rice, and her very sharp tongue. Quick temper too. You want food? Then pay properly. This is not Father Christmas kitchen. Between the two of them, peace never stood a chance. They had 3 children. Beautiful children. Smart children. Children who had learned something very important very early, how to do homework while their parents screamed at each other. In that compound, there was an unspoken rule. If you heard silence, complete silence, it meant only one thing. The Adewales were not at home. When they were home, oh, you would know. Their fights were legendary. Legendary. It could start from anything. Anything at all. One morning. Busy. Why is my white singlet now pink? Because you washed it with your bad character. And just like that, boom. Doors would slam. Plates would clatter. Insults would fly like pepper in hot oil. And the children. The children would sit outside on the corridor steps, doing homework like this was a normal soundtrack to their lives. Pass me the eraser. Okay. While inside, their parents were, well, let's just say the compound was getting a free radio drama. Every single day. At first, neighbors tried to intervene. Marriage is not boxing ring. Stop this thing now. Joy Akon would stand in the doorway with her arms folded, whispering to her friend Tolu, episode 47 has started. Oh. Let me get my popcorn. I'm just passing through. But after months, and months, and months of constant drama, the compound got tired. When the Adewale started shouting, people simply closed their doors. Windows shut. Curtains drawn. Leave them. They will settle. They never did. You see, the real problem wasn't the arguments. It was pride. Connor believed he must always win. Always. Every single time. In his mind, backing down was weakness. Apologizing. That was surrender. Busy. Busy believed she must never lose. Never. To her, giving in was defeat. Saying sorry first. That would mean he was right. So their arguments were no longer about the issues. They weren't fighting about pink singlets or burnt stew or who finished the water. They were fighting about proving who was louder. Who was stronger. Who could win. And you know what happened? Even their children began speaking in raised voices. Normal conversation. They didn't know it anymore. Give me the ball. When a 5-year-old is shouting to ask for sugar, you know something is very wrong. One evening, Mr. Lewal, the landlord, called them to his flat. Mr. Lewal was an elderly man. Quiet. Respected. The kind of man who didn't need to shout to command attention. I am warning you both. This compound is not a battleground. People are here to find peace after work. Not this. Both Connor and Busy nodded respectfully. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. The next day, they fought about who finished the last sachet of pure water. The worst came on a humid Thursday night. The kind of night where the air is thick and tempers are even thicker. Connor returned from work. Tired. Hungry. Frustrated from a long day of Lagos traffic and difficult passengers. He climbed the stairs heavily, dragging himself to flat 2A. The very moment, he entered the door. Busy. Is food ready? Not, good evening. Not, how was your day? Just, is food ready? From the shared kitchen in the courtyard, Busy shouted back. I'm cooking. The gas is slow. Minutes passed. Connor checked again. Still not ready. He hissed loudly. That long Nigerian hiss. You know the one. Since morning you are at home. Busy's hand froze. The spoon stopped stirring. She turned slowly and dropped the spoon into the pot. Then come and cook it yourself. Wrong thing to say. Connor tied his wrapper tighter, like a warrior preparing for battle, and marched to the shared kitchen. He pushed Busy aside. Not violently, but angrily. Grab the pot. I will show you how to cook fast. Across the compound, windows started opening. Neighbors began peeping out. Connor increased the gas flame. Too high. Way too high. The oil began to smoke. The stew started bubbling dangerously. Busy rushed back. You will burn the stew. Don't tell me what to do. You don't even know how to cut onions properly. Are you insulting me? And then, chaos. Voices rising. Hands gesturing wildly. Pushing. Pulling. Dragging pots. A plate fell, crash. Another broke, smash. Half-cooked stew spilled across the kitchen floor like lava. Red pepper splashed on the walls. Someone screamed. H. The children. One of the kids started crying loudly. Connor knocked over a plastic table. Busy pushed a chair aside. The shared kitchen, used by 6 flats, looked like a small war had broken out. This is too much. They finally scattered the whole kitchen. Today is their grand finale. The next morning, Mr. Lawal arrived early. He didn't shout. That was the scary part. He stood in the middle of the courtyard, hands behind his back, staring at the destroyed kitchen. The stained walls. The broken plates. The dried food on the floor. The silence was deafening. Connor. Busy. They came out quietly. Heads down. No eye contact. Like children called to the headmaster's office. The entire compound gathered. Everyone watching. Even the children were quiet. For 2 years, you have turned this compound into a radio station of insults. Yesterday, you turned it into a war zone. No excuses came from either of them. No defiance. No pride now. Just shame. I am tired. You will vacate this compound. Immediately. Gas spread through the compound like wildfire. I will not renew your rent. Peace is more important than money. Busy's shoulders dropped. All that fire, gone. Her proud posture, crumbled. Connor's chest deflated. His pride, finally looked small. They opened their mouths to plead. But Mr. Lawal raised one hand. Enough. Parking was silent. No shouting. No insults. No arguments. Just shame. Connor folded clothes slowly, mechanically. Busy wrapped dishes in newspaper, moving like someone in a trance. The children packed their toys silently, confused, not quite understanding why they had to leave. Neighbors watched from a distance. But this time, there was no gossip. No popcorn. Just uncomfortable pity. Joy whispered to Tolu. Imagine being sent out like this. When pride is louder than love, disgrace is waiting. By evening, the Adewales family, Connor, Busy, and their 3 children, left number 17 Adin Street. Bags in hand. Heads down. Walking away from the only home those children had known. That night, the compound was unusually quiet. Too quiet. A week later, the shared kitchen had been cleaned and repainted. Fresh paint covered the pepper stains. The broken plates were swept away. New order emerged. Peace, slowly, returned. Children in the compound began playing freely again. Laughing. Running. Being children. And whenever a small argument started between any couple in the building, someone would say, quietly, like a gentle warning, remember the Adewales. And just like that, the arguing would stop. Voices would lower. Tempers would cool. Because nobody wanted to become the next cautionary tale. You see, constant conflict, it may feel normal to those involved. When you're in it every day, you stop noticing how loud it is. How exhausting it is. How damaging it is. But to everyone else, it becomes noise, tension, and eventually, disgrace. When pride controls a marriage, when winning becomes more important than peace, when being right matters more than being kind, shame is never far away. Respect, patience, self-control. These things, they don't just protect your relationship. They protect your reputation, your dignity, your children's peace. Because sometimes, it is not the fight itself that destroys you. It is the public disgrace that follows. The Adewales learned this lesson. But they learned it too late. Don't let pride write your story. Choose peace, while you still can. This has been When Love Becomes Noise. A story from the streets of Lagos, with a lesson for us all. Thank you for listening.